Supper with Stub, mixing up drinks and making grub, pairing beer and wine with the dishes we love. Come on in and see the spell of Supper with Stub.
Hello friends, welcome to Supper with Stub. You know what we do here. We drink and we cook things. Today I'll be making a great pan-seared red snapper. And for those of you who know me, you know I loves me a red snapper. We always start Supper with Stub with a cocktail, and today is no different. Today, we're pretending we've had a tough week, because a lot of us have these days of the week, right? So we're starting off today with a Long Island iced tea. Now, a lot of us think about this as a drink that is ubiquitous at frat parties or when we were younger, and it's all made just to get as drunk as you can as quickly as possible. That is not the case. This isn't an internationally approved cocktail. It's one every bartender needs to know how to make. So we've added vodka, rum, gin, tequila, triple sec, and now to that we're gonna add 1 ounce of sweet and sour. We added a ½ ounce each of our liquors. We're adding 1 ounce of our sweet and sour mix, which by the way is homemade. You know why? Because we're not basic bitches. That's why. How do you make homemade sweet and sour mix? You take equal parts of simple syrup, equal parts of lemon juice, equal parts of lime juice, combine those all up, bam, a perfect sweet and sour mix. So we've added all of our ingredients into a shaker. We're gonna give this a nice shake. Now remember, once again, I know I've mentioned this several times, when do we shake or stir a cocktail? We generally shake a cocktail when there is juice involved. So we're putting this little fancy pedestal cocktail glass, mainly because I never use these things. So to that, we're gonna add no more than 1 ounce of Coca-Cola at the end. We're gonna give this a really, really quick stir. We're gonna garnish this with a nice lemon wheel, get ourselves a straw, and give it a taste. All right, so that is an amazing cocktail. Now, Long Island iced tea should actually live up to its name. If it's properly made, it will taste like a sweet tea with lemon. Now, back in the day when your boy Stub was bartending, there were a few occasions when he got cocktails sent back saying, I don't taste liquor in this cocktail. Well, you didn't order a straight up shot. I would tell people, ask them what it tasted like. When they told me it tasted like a sweet tea with lemon, I would tell them that's because I'm an amazing bartender. All right, friends, now we're gonna get started. Look at this beautiful plate of red snapper. Look at that. Once again, I loves me a red snapper. We're gonna do a quick and easy marinade for this tonight. So we have some olive oil. We have some lemon juice. Very quick and easy. We have our rice vinegar here. We're gonna add that. So with this marinade, as we've talked about with marinades before, we have a little fat content, we have a little acid content. So we have the fat content with the olive oil, we have the acid content with the vinegar here. To that, we're gonna add our honey. And then we're gonna add our Dijon mustard, gives it a nice little kick here. And then finally, we're gonna throw in our powdered ginger. Basically, we're just gonna whisk all these things together very quickly. And you see here from the overhead shot, this is not a heavy, super marinade. You're basically gonna dip the fish enough. So the cool thing about red snapper is it really accepts a marinade well. It loves to be treated in many different ways. You can cook it in a pan, you can cook it on the grill, you can cook it on the broiler, you can bake it. Red snapper basically loves any kind of heat you can put on it. So we're basically just gonna get a little bit of this. Now a lot of people will just dredge this in. We're gonna add some green onions in there. That's gonna be for effect, and we'll pour that over once we're cooking here in a little bit. So basically we're just gonna take our red snapper fillets and just put them in the marinade here, skin side up, so we get a little marinade. Some people, once again, will just dredge this in there and then put it directly in the pan. We're gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes, and I'll rotate this around a little bit just so this marinade gets all over the fish. And I'll meet you at the stove here in just a second. All right, friends, our fish has been in the marinade for about 5 minutes. It doesn't really need more than that. Once again, the red snapper takes pretty much anything you throw at it. We have a pan here, a non-stick pan. I've got it on about a medium heat here. We're gonna go ahead and put the snapper in. Meat side, or skin side up, I guess is probably the easiest way to say that. You can hear it's just sizzling lightly. We're gonna give this about 3 minutes on this side before we turn it. Now in the meantime, you can see I have other things on the stove. I have some rice on the stove here. I think it's a great accompaniment to this dish. It's basically a long grain and brown wild rice blend to have going. Put some salt, butter, water in there. Let it simmer for a while. You want to put this on before you do anything else because most rices, well, they take a long time. I also have some water boiling back here. We're gonna do some fresh green beans with this meal. We'll be back in 3 minutes here to turn this fish over. All right, friends, our red snapper's been on the heat for about 3 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and turn it over. So when turning a fish, if you have one of these slotted fish spatulas, great. If you don't, great. This fish is delicate, but it's also hardy enough that you can treat it a little harshly and it's gonna bounce right back. Beauty of the red snapper. So we're gonna turn this over and cook it for about another 3 minutes here in the pan. And we'll be right back. All right, our fish has been 3 minutes on the second side here, skin side down. What we're gonna do now is just add a little bit of salt over top here. And a little bit of pepper over top as well. And then we're gonna go ahead and just take the rest of our marinade and drizzle it over the top of our fish here with all those green onions. And we're gonna let this simmer off on this medium heat for about 3 to 4 more minutes until we pull it off. All right, friends, we've let our fish go another 4 minutes or so. We're gonna go ahead and pull this off. Our green beans here, as you can see next, are about done. So I'm gonna pull this fish off, pull off the green beans, fluff up my rice, plate this, and we'll be back over here to taste in just a second. All right, friends, we have our dish plated here. We have our pan-seared snapper, some nice basmati and wild rice blend, and of course, some fresh green beans. Let's go ahead and try to give this fish a taste here and see how we've done. Oh, look. Wow, fish is delicious. Once again, it's accepted the marinade well. You get that honey, you get the ginger in there. It's not overbearing though. That red snapper really, really loves everything we've done to it to this point. So let's pair this with the wine. What wine are we going with? Well, tonight I thought we would do something maybe a little bit different. We're going with a Portuguese wine and we're going with Alvarinho. So this is a white wine. It's gonna be crisp, it's gonna be bright. It's gonna have some nice acid on it, some nice salt flavors as well. A little bit. I think it's going to go well with the sweet, moist characteristics of the fish here. Now, on the fish, I didn't tell you a temperature to cook the fish to. You should cook the fish to about 155, maybe at the most, before pulling it off and letting it rest. The tendency for a lot of us with fish is going to be to overcook it. All right, so this wine here, no oak aging on this wine. I'm getting a lot of citrus notes, which I think is going to go well with the fish here. I'm getting a lot of like Meyer lemon notes on there, actually. So, wow, look at that fish. Just flaky, moist, and delicious. Let's give this a go. No, that wine pairs perfectly. Perfectly with the fish. Once again, the citrus notes on there really bring out the little bit of the creaminess of the fish. No, once again, red snapper's not a super fishy fish in most cases, unless it's maybe a little older. But this is a great, perfect pairing here. Now, this is a great summertime wine, Alvarinho from Portugal. This is from the Douro region. I just thought it would be a great late summer addition for a fish dish here. Now, once again, not all Supper with Stub fans are wine people. So enter our beer. Once again, we've pulled something out here that probably would be a great summer sipper. And here we have the Atlas Brew Company Blood Orange Gosa. And Atlas Brew is here in Washington, D.C. Now this beer hits the scales at 4.4%. It's a great summer sipper. Like a Gosa, it should be a little salty, a little sour, maybe a hint of sweetness in there to balance it out. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah. Wow, the salt comes out. That little hint of blood orange is amazing and really does well with the bitterness of the beer. Let's try this with our fish now. You know, we have a couple of hot days coming. I can think of nothing I'd like to do more than to munch on red snapper and drink this low alcohol Gosa all the live long day on a nice warm day. So there we have it. Pan-seared red snapper. We've got some nice rice blend. Use the rice of your choosing. Add a little salt, a little butter. Bam, perfect. Some fresh green beans. These things are delicious. We've paired that with an Alvarinho from the Douro region of Portugal, and of course our blood orange Gosa from Atlas Brew Company here in Washington, D.C. And of course we started off, because we all have bad days, with a Long Island iced tea. Perfectly made though, because it tastes exactly like a sweet tea with lemon. Friends, thanks for joining me. This is the last episode of Supper with Stub for a while. We're gonna go on a brief hiatus. We hope to come back in the holidays and maybe do some special episodes with great ideas for the holidays. In the meantime, I'm gonna be doing some traveling, some more working and writing. But I want to thank you for joining me and keeping up with now the 20th episode of Supper with Stub. Really appreciate it. Let me know if you've tried these recipes, if you tried these pairings, if you think there's better pairings to have with these. I'd love to hear from you on these and get some comments back from you. So until next time, stop coveting, start drinking, and remember, especially if you're here in Northern Virginia, there's always a seat at the table for you for Supper with Stub. Cheers, friends.